Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today may be the last day of the year that I get out. We've got a decent day here. It's not super warm. It's a little bit windy, but we're still going to be in the 50s probably at some point today. The next 2-week forecast looks like highs in the upper 20s and low 30s, so we're probably going to freeze over. But I figured no better time to come out than throw a jerkbait than right now. Try to enjoy the last little bit of warm weather that we have and get out and throw the Berkley Stunnas around. I've got just the 112 model as well as the 112 plus one. I like to have both versions rigged up just so if I get up onto a shallower flat, I can throw the 112, the standard Stunna. That bait runs like 3 to 6 feet deep, and then the plus one gets down to 10 foot. And it truly is one of the deepest running jerkbaits that I use. I mean, you can get it down to that 10-foot mark, which is pretty deep for a suspending jerkbait. So we've got two of my favorite colors here. We've got shad fillet. I'll show these more closer to you. And Northern Lights, two very good clear water colors. So let's get out on the water. Let's see if we can catch a few fish to end the year and put the boat away with a good day of fishing. There's one. Feels pretty good. He hit that hard too. It's a decent one. We got a bunch of hooks in you. Come here. Nice one. Good one to start the day off with. I like how he hit it too. Really thumped her. Probably a 16 and a half incher. One of the things that I love about this bait is how good you can cast it. The weight transfer in this bait is better than pretty much any other jerkbait that I know of. You know, I've talked about using the spinning gear because it lets me load up the bait on the cast. Well, with a weight transfer, the spinning gear, medium action spinning rod like I'm throwing, it's just a medium light, just lets me load up on the cast and act as like a rocket launcher with that bait, which I just love. And that's one of the reasons why the Stunna, you can get it down so deep, not to mention that it also slowly sinks. So when you just let the bait sit there on a pause, you know, you don't have to worry about it rising out of the strike zone, and all you gotta do is keep a little tension on it and you can basically keep it at the exact level that you want. So to me, it's a very good jerkbait. It's one that I've been catching a ton of fish on and has easily become one of my top couple jerkbaits that I throw during tournament situations. This is Northern Lights. This is one of my favorite clear water colors. The hooks are so dang sharp too. Fusion 19s. It's got a light chartreuse belly, a little bit of that purplish top, a little black. It's got some really scattered silver flake. A great clear water color, the Northern Lights. One of my favorites. There, I knew I felt one thumping there. What do we got? Ooh, another nice bass. He hit that twice before he actually came back and got it. Another good one. Setting up to have a fun day here. Oh, hitting it right at the head of the bait. That's right where you want it. You know, a lot of people question me always using really light pound tests. You know, this is 6-pound test, and I gotta tell you, when you throw a jerkbait, like most of the top of the line jerkbaits right now, they come with such sharp hooks that you don't even have to really set the hook. You just put a little pressure on them, and they'll just get the hooks in them. I mean, I'm not worried at all about using hooks that are gonna bend, because again, it's 6-pound test, so it's so light that I'm not gonna stretch the hooks out, and they're sharp enough where they're just gonna stick. So all I gotta do is keep pressure, have a light drag, and I'll be good to go. That's all you gotta do. Got him. Another nice one. They are loaded up on that point. This is a chunky one. You are a fat one, and they are eating that good. Come here. Oh, that water's cold. They are getting it right in the head, exactly where you want it. Oh, this is gonna be a fun day, guys. We've been out for 15 minutes. Nice, another chunky 2.5 pounder. All right. God, we got another one. That one feels good too. Either we got this one hooked weird, or it's a pretty good one. It feels pretty heavy. It's coming up. Everyone. Just nice quality fish. They've got that stunner, 3 hooks in them. Come here, mister. Golly. Just another nice fish. He's getting a little beaten up. So what I've got right here is a big flat, and then there's a point on that flat. So that's the primary. You've got a straight break line that drops from about 4 foot down into 25 or 30, and there's one point off this flat. And off that point, there's actually a little shelf. So it goes from 4 to 12, out about 40 feet, and then drops off into, I don't know, 25 or 30 foot. And these fish are sitting right on that shelf, which is a prime feeding area. You know, these are mostly largemouth that I'm gonna catch probably today, at least in the spot like this. The smallmouth are gonna be deeper. We've got 48 to 49 degree water temps, so it's cold. The largemouth are just gonna stick on that first break line generally. Any little shelf off that break line, the smallmouth are gonna be probably much deeper. But they're key little spots like that. You know, I talk about fishing the spot on the spot, or looking for any sort of irregularity. Well, it's this little shelf off this point, off what would otherwise be a straight break line, that's been producing really well. The other thing I want to mention has to do with your retrieves. You know, mix it up. I've done a lot of jerkbait videos. I like to get it down to like its main diving depth, and then you got to figure out like how long the pauses are that these fish want. And because it's cooler water, most of these fish are actually hitting after several seconds of a pause. And I'm finding that I don't necessarily need to move it real fast. So a lot of these, I'm just get it down to the depth. I give it 1 or 2 snaps, sometimes an up snap. And I'm trying to just keep it right in that strike zone, and eventually one comes up and eats it. So the other thing I want to point out is when you're fishing a jerkbait, there's a lot of line watching that goes on here. I'm watching my line to see any sort of little tick or any sort of pop that might indicate there was a fish. You know, I've had a couple of fish where I've seen my line bump a couple of times and I went and set the hook or jerked it and nothing was there. And then the fish came, but seeing that little line bump signaled to me that I may want to increase my pause on that retrieve, because there's probably a fish that's tracking it and may have hit it or slapped it with their tail. It's just important to do it, because a lot of times you see it pop, but you don't actually feel that bite. You know, on a good jerkbait day, you feel everything, your line tightens up, but a lot of times you can really increase the number of bites that you're getting by watching your line, even though you're not feeling it in your rod. There's another one. Guys, we've caught a pile of fish today. I don't know how many, most of them little, but a fun way to end the year with a jerkbait. Catching, you know, that's probably a 14.5, not a giant, but we probably had 7 or 8 keepers today and another 25 little fish. It's been pretty ridiculous actually with the number of smaller fish, but I think I'm gonna end it right there. I don't know what's gonna make the end video or not. There's just a lot of fish catches, crappie, pike, a little bit of everything. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll have a lot more tips coming up to you, a lot more videos. If you enjoyed the channel, subscribe, like the video, and stay tuned. We'll have a new one coming out tomorrow.